Uyo uko kuno aho pano mamuona kere nai.
Right, 18 June 2021, and today I want to quickly present the results by the Afrobarometer Survey, or the results of the Afrobarometer Survey. Afrobarometer, one of the best companies in terms of performing surveys here in Africa. They are often correct on issues in Zimbabwe. And today I want to look at the report that they did this week. I've put the report on gambako.com. If you want to see it, you can also go to their website and give your view on the Afrobarometer survey, your analysis. They give you an opportunity to do so. And I want to go back to a topic that I handled in February 2020. You can go and see a report there that was done by Noise, which said Nelson Chamisa is going to lose the 2023 elections. So Afrobarometer has released a report that reached the same conclusion, that if the elections were to be held at this very moment in Zimbabwe, Nelson Chamisa would lose the elections in 2023. And I want to take you through why they said so, what is the reasoning of the report, and also what it means for Chamisa. So this will be very, very quick. I know it's a Friday and everyone wants to take a break. So the report is not about only the elections. There are a lot of other things in the report, life in Zimbabwe and so forth. Tomorrow I'm going to have Senator Kalipani Pugeni here, and we're going to discuss these other issues. But I want to touch on a number of key findings in the report. So let me hide my banner here. Okay. Let's look at, do you belong to a political party? And you can see on the screen that 54% of the people who were surveyed, they said they feel they are close to a political party, and 40% do not feel to any political party. If I take the 2018 report of the similar company, you will see that 68% of the people who were surveyed felt close to a political party. So you can see from 68% we're down to 54%, and this was in 2020. As we go towards the elections, this number is going to be even more impacted because of the situation that has happened in the MDCT. So politically, people are feeling less close to political parties. So parties like the MDC, ZANU-PF, you can take your guess. After the split in the MDCT, the MDC alliance, which party do you think people feel more closer to? So immediately you can see what is happening there, and the numbers don't lie. Now, let's look at which party people feel more aligned to. ZANU-PF and MDC Chamisa, you can see that people say they do not want to answer. 52% of the people do not want to answer. 27% ZANU-PF and 20% Chamisa. Then 1% is other. At this time, there was no MDCT of Douglas Monzor. So this is quite telling. More ZANU-PF people are willing to say they belong to ZANU-PF compared to MDC. And then if we go to the same report in 2018, you can see that MDC Chamisa had quite a big chunk here. By the time we went to the election, there were 29%, and ZANU-PF was on 34%. So it was very, very close. And this is continuing. It means Chamisa on his side is not making the inroads. He's not making the inroads. And I want to go now to voting intentions. So I want to be quick with this report. Voting intentions, who do you intend to vote for? ZANU-PF, 33%, Chamisa, 26%. Refuse to answer, 23%. Will not vote, 10%. So let's mark that will not vote and do not know, and consider this as people who won't vote. And then let's go and look at 2018 voting intentions. So I want to go to 2018 voting intentions. Right. You can see that the number of do not vote is staying at 20%. However, the people who say they want to vote for, they will vote for Chamisa is 37%, and ZANU-PF was 40%, which means the number of Chamisa is down by almost 11% as we speak. Let's see ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF's number is up by 6%. So these are very, very important figures that I'm showing you. And this Afrobarometer, take it very, very seriously. It's not, when I read their reports, I start to see the logic behind their reports. I've got obviously one or two things that I would suggest for them to change, which I will say at the end. But Afrobarometer, often very, very correct about the situation in Zimbabwe. So what we're seeing is that Chamisa, he is not making the inroads in terms of voters. And you will remember, and I want to direct you back to the report I did in February 2020. Chamisa is not only going to lose, he's also going to fail to win. What do I mean? What I mean is that Chamisa is not doing enough to win. What does he need to do? According to the report by Noise, there are two key things that Chamisa needs to do. He needs to build grassroots support, and he needs to increase or to create a broad-based coalition. You can see from now, from what is happening now, that Chamisa is not going to win, but he is also going to lose. So what do I mean he's going to lose? ZANU-PF is doing a lot, and Chamisa is not doing enough. So he's going to lose because of those reasons. Now let's go to other factors. I want to show you what people were saying in 2018. Who's going to win the 2018 elections? This question was asked in May, July 2018. 44% of the people said ZANU-PF. Well, these are two. So one was done in May, one was done in July. And 34% said Nelson Chamisa. 23% refused to answer. You can see how close this election prediction was. The difference between Chamisa and Idi Mnangagwa was almost just a few percentage points. If I'm not mistaken, it was even less than 2%. These guys got it right. What is the cause of this? The cause is structural. Idi Mnangagwa's voters are in the villages and in the rural areas. Chamisa's voters are in town. So Idi Mnangagwa, because he's got structures, he's going to get his people out, they're going to vote for him. Chamisa, because his supporters are in town, he needs to get those supporters out. And I want to show you, and unfortunately, I don't have this graphic here. You can go to the report of 2018 and check. Go and look at estimation for Bulawayo. Afrobarometer was almost spot on. Idi Mnangagwa got 20%, Chamisa got 80% in Bulawayo. However, people of Chamisa did not turn out. So the only people who voted in Bulawayo was 180,000. The number that did not vote in Bulawayo would have easily swung the vote towards Chamisa's victory. But that did not happen. It's structural. Chamisa is failing to organize himself so that people can come out and vote for him. Whereas Idi Mnangagwa's party, ZANU-PF, have got the structures, they're getting people out, they're doing enough to get people to vote for them. The people in Zimbabwe are not necessarily happy with ZANU-PF, but Idi Mnangagwa is doing enough to win. And if you keep going deeper into the Afrobarometer reports, you will see that most of the things that Chamisa and the MDC care about don't swing the vote. So let's go and look at what Afrobarometer saw. And I want to, this is number one. Yes, creating jobs. Chamisa had 90% people who said that if Chamisa got into power, he would create more jobs. But he's still going to lose. The reason being, the voters of Idi Mnangagwa don't work. They've got farms, they run shops, they do other things. So they will not worry about these jobs. Maintaining roads and bridges, Idi Mnangagwa has done a lot. Keeping prices stable, Idi Mnangagwa has done a lot. Addressing the needs of young people, ZANU-PF is starting to approach young people through the AAG. Narrowing income gaps, Idi Mnangagwa is doing this. Improving living standards of the poor, Fumvuza is doing a lot with that. Addressing educational needs with COVID, Idi Mnangagwa has got a good excuse there. He couldn't have done much better. Managing the economy, Idi Mnangagwa has done a lot in terms of managing the economy. And then let's go to fighting corruption. Corruption in Zimbabwe, corruption is not as bad as in South Africa. In fact, Zimbabwe is not as bad if you actually talk about what's happening on the ground. Improving basic health services. I think with COVID, it's understandable what has happened. Providing water and sanitation. This is the one area where Idi Mnangagwa is getting low marks in terms of all these reports. If you look in the report that Afrobarometer has done now, reducing crime is quite low in Zimbabwe, except for violent crime. Handling and providing reliable supply of electricity, they've done very, very well. Power cuts are gone in Zimbabwe. Handling, protecting rights, promoting opportunity for the disabled. This is quite a minority right, and I don't see this as a big issue. And then handling and preventing or resolving violent conflict. You can see Idi Mnangagwa, in terms of the important things, he has done what needs to be done. And Chamisa, on his side, he has not done enough to win. Remember, I said Chamisa is not going to win and Chamisa is going to lose. So two things are going to happen at the same time. Chamisa is going to lose because ZANU-PF is doing well. And Chamisa is not going to win because he's not doing enough. And those two things are going to come together and make him not the president of Zimbabwe under the current conditions and according to this report by Afrobarometer. These guys, as I said, they do very, very well when it comes to Zimbabwe. Let's look at trust. How much trust do Zimbabweans have in public figures? I want to show you something that is very, very interesting. On your left is trust, and on the right is the lack of trust. NGOs, very trusted in the rural areas, 79%. Religious leaders, Makandiwa, Magaya, they are trusted more than traditional leaders. Courts of law are trusted in Zimbabwe, 56%. So all those four that I've mentioned, they are above 50% trust. However, the lack of trust is very important. Idi Mnangagwa, 45% lack of trust. How many MDC supporters do we have in Zimbabwe? So if you take all the MDC supporters, those are the 45% of the people that don't trust Mnangagwa. Now take the people who didn't answer and the 48% that trust Mnangagwa. He's above 50%. He's going to be at least, I can say, 55% support from Mnangagwa. Members of parliament, 44%. People who are actually living with the members of parliament don't trust them. Police, 38%. ZEC is at 38%. Well, give them the 8% or the 2% from there. They get about 48%. Local government councillors, where the MDC is running everything, 38%. And obviously, the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, the guys who run borders, they get the minimum support. What do I mean? Look at this. Despite all that which you are looking at, Chamisa is still failing to beat Idi Mnangagwa in a survey. So if I can even go further here, in terms of the economy, let's go to living conditions. Right. Everybody in Zimbabwe, 72%, they say things are very bad or fairly bad in Zimbabwe. That means we should be having 72% of the people saying, I can't take this situation, I'm going to vote for Chamisa. But that's not the case. However, go to personal living conditions. So we move away from the country because you're assuming myself, how am I doing in my house? 62%. There's 10% of the people who are doing okay, who say the country is not doing well. Those people support Idi Mnangagwa. Those people are people who are miners, people who are gold panners, people who've got their own small business. 19% don't mind the situation in Zimbabwe. They think it's fine. Let's just stay the way it is. And 19% of the people say life is good in Zimbabwe. So we've got 40% people in Zimbabwe who say they're doing well in Zimbabwe. And only 62% of the people, compared to 72% of the people, they say the situation is fairly bad. What does it mean? Chamisa is failing to harness the condition in Zimbabwe. As bad as it is, he is failing to harness the condition to win, to make people turn around and hate Mnangagwa, because only 45% of the people who are MDC supporters, they say Chamisa is not doing a good job. Why? Why is Chamisa failing to turn all these people that are saying life is bad, they say they don't trust Mnangagwa? Why are they free to say they're not trusting Mnangagwa, but they go on to not vote for him? That's a very, very good question, which goes back to the failure to organize structures, the poor state of the opposition in Zimbabwe. So Chamisa is going to lose, but at the same time, he's not going to win because ZANU-PF is doing very, very well. Right, let us go to the comments. I want to wrap up. I'm almost on 20 minutes now. Let me go and look at, I want to go and look at a good comment here. Erisha, there's no rigging here in this report. Let me explain to you why. Go to the 2018 Afrobarometer report, and you'll see what people were saying before the elections. Remember, when people lose, they say a different thing. Before the elections, most Zimbabweans were saying the elections are not going to be rigged. Go and look at the 2018 Afrobarometer report, and you'll see what I mean. It's very important for the MDC to understand the meaning of surveys. A survey is a strategic tool. That's how you make a decision. I showed you the report by Noise in 2020 February. You remember what that report said. Chamisa is going to lose in 2023, and the United States should start planning to get into Zimbabwe in 5 years' time, not in the meantime, not in the 5 years. Go and look at that report. If you look at that report, come back to this report. This is what people are saying. So link what the experts are saying to what people are saying on the ground. What people are telling you is the situation in Zimbabwe is bad, but we don't think Chamisa is the solution. You are in 2021 now. You've got 2 years to resolve the problem, but you don't resolve the problem by burying your head in the sand. So let's go. That is a big answer for you, Erisha. Right. Chamisa will lose because people waited for the signal from 2018 that he promised. Leroy, if you go to the Noise report, the United States report, that is what they said. Chamisa lacks the capacity to mobilize mass action against Idi Mnangagwa. I do not have to say more. Chamisa has failed to even demonstrate once since the elections. There has not been a successful demonstration in Zimbabwe. It will not happen. Let's go to Joshua. Joshua say, why is it always about Chamisa, not Monzora? I thought you would shift from your ZANU-PF propaganda and talks about Monzora. Monzora is not in the report, the Afrobarometer report. I'm talking about what is in the report. So let us wait until there's Monzora in the report. Then let's go down. We're almost about to finish now. I want to look at someone different. Right. My figure in my diagram now 2023. He's saying I'm putting figures and diagrams to rig in 2023. So I want to advise my MDC friends. Let me advise you this way. There is no election in the world that you can say is totally free and fair. It's totally handled with the conditions that will make everyone happy. Look at what happened in the United States. Forget about being the referee and the player. Play your game. What does it mean? Chamisa, organize yourself with the other opposition parties. Read reports like this, like the Afrobarometer reports. Look at what really matters to the people and focus on that. Don't focus on Zach, wasting your time with holding on to a name and all those kind of things. That is where you lose. No one is rigging Chamisa. As we speak right now, if Chamisa works very hard and he does all the things that these reports are saying, if he fixes his grassroots structures, if he has a broad-based alliance, if he has proper campaigns, he's got a database of members, if he's got polling agents, you see what I mean? Where I'm going, we are going down the path of success. At the moment, Chamisa is not there. What Chamisa does, he spends the whole day listening to Hope Chingono, listening to Magaisa, listening to this guy who's in South Africa. They tell him, you're amazing, you're great, you're the best thing that happened to Zimbabwe. And they don't look at the reports. If you don't look at the reports, when the elections come, you're going to blame Zek. You're going to wonder why you don't have polling agents. You're going to select candidates that's embarrassing and that gives you low ratings in the councils. These are the wrong things that are happening with Chamisa. And then your party is going to split. After it splits, you're going to hold on to the old name, and then you're going to lose in 2023. That is how you lose. So there are two things that are going to happen. Chamisa is going to lose, and he's not going to win because, as I said, ZANU-PF is doing so well, and Chamisa is not doing enough. So we have done so much here, so much analysis. Simba, you say this is true. Well, I'm presenting what is there. This is not what I like, but this is what is there. Let's look at one-on-one. Okay, someone is calling me a god here. That's what John Makore. You will see who is a god in 2023 after the election results. You're going to be seeing the real gods if you don't listen to Afrobarometer and all the other important think tanks. You know what a think tank is? A think tank doesn't sit on Twitter. A think tank doesn't sit in a rally. You have to have a think tank. You have to have people that are thinking and strategizing, and people who don't call people gods. Those are the kind of people that will make you win in 2023. But if you continue with this behavior, it will be 2030, and Chamisa won't even be a councillor, or you won't even have councillors. Let's go to Colette. Colette is saying, let's meet in the ballot box. Okay, let's meet in the ballot box without any plans. I want a new person. I really wish I could get a new party, a new person here. If you and your party, Zimbabwe, don't rig elections, Chamisa will win. And I just said to you, it's not possible for Chamisa to win. Let me explain to you why. And go to the Afrobarometer report. They break down everything by province. Who is going to win by province? And unfortunately, I do not have this graphic with me. I wish I had this graphic here. Let's take Mashonaland West, Mashonaland East, and then let's take Manicaland, Midlands. These are the places where ZANU-PF is winning. Do you know the map of Zimbabwe, the way it is? Where are the people who support Chamisa? Where are the people who support Idi Mnangagwa? What does Chamisa need to do to win? What does Mnangagwa need to do to win? And what are they doing, both of them? That is how you win. You don't win by just making a slogan and saying you're going to win Chamisa Diane Chimbo and all that. Those are useless slogans. You need a strategy. And where do you get a strategy? You get a strategy from a survey. You formulate a strategy from these surveys, from these reports, and then you implement it. How do you implement your strategy? You go on the ground. You go on the ground, you set up structures. If you don't have structures and your party is based on one person, the popularity of one person, you're going to lose. ZANU-PF is a machine. If you remove Mugabe, they'll put Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa will win. If you remove Mnangagwa, they'll put someone else and that person will win. Why? Because they've got structures. They've got systems. If you want to find out how ZANU-PF is a machine, look at what they're doing on social media. Look what they're doing with AAG. Look what they're doing with the rallies, with their membership cards. Their members are paid up. How many Chamisa members are paid up? How many people go to the Chamisa website? I was checking their website now. It's less than 100 people a month. And their payment system don't work. You see, ZANU-PF is working, it's a machine, it's ready to win. The MDC is not. They are thinking about the past. Right, Gambakwe, you're now campaigning for ZANU-PF to rig using statistics. These are not my statistics. This is Afrobarometer. Go to Afrobarometer, you'll find out, not me. And last time, they were right. They were right most of the time. And then let's go to the very last one. And Jay, I think you summarize everything here. Besides the rigging, MDC approach to elections way inferior to that of ZANU-PF, all considered. Look at the trajectory ED is picking up. I do agree with you. This is the report, the part about the elections. Tomorrow, I'm going to be having Senator Kalipani Pugini here. We want to touch on the economy of Zimbabwe. The IMF has just completed a virtual visit to Zimbabwe, and they were dealing with Minister Mthuli Ncube, and they produced a report about Zimbabwe. They said Zimbabwe is doing very, very well. So we want to look at what Zimbabwe is doing well, according to the IMF. Last week, we talked about the World Bank. The World Bank said Zimbabwe is doing well. It's going to have growth. So we want to look at that. But the Afrobarometer went to the people. We also want to look at what they said is not doing well. If Idi Mnangagwa fixes those things and Chamisa continues on the trajectory where he is, it's clear ZANU-PF is going to win, and it will continue winning until the MDC fixes its problems. Because remember last year, in last election, 2018, we had the highest turnout ever, and Chamisa still failed to win. Imagine if the turnout in the towns goes lower, or people start voting for Idi Mnangagwa. Chamisa will not hit the numbers that he hit before. It will be a bigger gap. And he's being told in time. He's being told in time that he's not going to win. So this is what I'm saying. This is very clear. You can see it here. The confidence in ZANU-PF very, very high, and the confidence in Chamisa quite low. That number that says refuse to answer there, it's very worrying, because you can't say I'm 72% hungry, but I'm not answering who I'm going to vote for. This is telling you something. And clearly, this means Chamisa is not doing enough as an opposition party to win the elections. Right, it's a Friday, and I'm very sorry for taking so long with this. I'm very, very happy if you could put your comments in the comment section. Go to gambakwa.com or go to Afrobarometer and have a look at the reports. Tomorrow we'll be back. We'll look at the IMF report. And thank you very much for joining me in this long, long presentation. Thank you very much, and good night.
Ay, 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 ay,